Dinner with Jay-Z. Do you want dinner with Jay-Z? Yeah. Having some dinner with Jay-Z. Are you gonna get the steak or will you have the fish? I'm gonna have a salad. Yeah. For a long time now, one of the most persistent meme questions in the internet hip-hop community has been, would you rather have dinner with Jay-Z? Presumably during such a dinner, you could ask him whatever questions you want, get some business advice, get some tips and tricks how to become like a famous rap guy. Or would you rather take like $500K or $1 million or whatever, some large lump sum of money? What would you do? Before I even talk about it, tell me in the comments, which one would you do? Huh? Which one? Pick one. Wait, pick it. I guess finally Jay-Z got asked this question himself, and here's what he said.
You would take the money?
Yeah, because you got all that in the music for $10.99. That's a bad deal. I wouldn't tell you to cut a bad deal. Like,
I don't
take
know.
the $500,000, go buy some albums and listen to the albums.
Yeah, so apparently Hove wants you to just kind of take the money too, but also tells us that if you really want to know what he thinks, or if you want to, hear some of his perspective, advice on things, the world, making money, yada, 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 you should kind of listen to the content of his music because, you'll find it lodged deep in the bars of his records. I don't know, personally, I'm probably not going to take my financial advice from Big Pimpin' anytime soon, though it is a good song. With that being said, Jay-Z has been in a bit of, in advice mood lately. By lately, I mean a lot of the content on his record 444, because there are numerous tracks and bars on that LP where he does try to lay down some game for people, go over past mistakes he may have made personally and financially, and sort of give the audience some insight into things he thinks they could do to, also be successful in their own right. Not that I think listening to 444 is an actual replacement for, education or life experience. But I will agree with Jay-Z to some extent that there is at least some kind of knowledge that should be picked up on in his music. And for sure, he's given a wealth of interviews over the years where he's talked about how he made it to where he is today, the grind he was on artistically and business-wise too to get his music out there. Take the $500K, stop being an idiot, stop being a moron. While I know Jay-Z is a very successful and talented businessman, that is true, a lot of his success has come down to kind of marketing himself and turning his own self into a business, which I suppose is one way to do it, but that's not the only way to be successful in the world of business. I mean, without getting into a big conversation here about exploitation, capitalism, and coming from a place of privilege, very few of the millionaire and billionaire success stories that we hear these days came about the same exact way. So even if Jay-Z told you every single thing that he did to get to where he is now, much of that stuff may only be hyper applicable to him and also the time period in which he did a lot of those things too. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s when Jay-Z was making some of his most formative records and most likely making some of his most key business decisions, the paradigms in which those things happened probably can't be repeated in 2023 necessarily. And it's not like Jay-Z has a super deep track record of making other artists as famous or successful as him, as Jay-Z's put on a lot of artists over the year through Rock Nation and beyond. And, at the end of the day, there's still only one Jay-Z. It's not like that led to a series of success stories where, every person is as big and as impactful as he is, or even close. So I guess my point here ultimately is that there's a lot of ways to business-wise or even artistically be successful in the world, especially in the internet age. What success even is very open to interpretation and depends upon the person who wants it. And attaining it in 2023 is most likely going to be a very different process than it might have been in 2003 or 1993. So even Jay-Z, with all his talent and all his experience, may not have the silver bullet answer that some people are looking for. Success, unfortunately, doesn't really work like that. If it did, we'd have a lot more billionaires walking around the world due to these idiots that make a little cottage industry out of, doing marketing guru advice.
If you want to be successful, you gotta wake up at 2 a.m. and work until 1 a.m. I can do one full day of work from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then from 12 p.m. to 8 a.m. and then from 8 a.m. to 3 a.m. And now I've turned my day into 3 days, so I have 21 days in a week.
So if you truly were looking for business advice, chances are you would want it to be as widely applicable as possible to whatever it is you're trying to do. And Jay-Z just may not have that. And also with that being said, $500K is a good sum of money, like a very good sum of money, more money than most people are going to see in their lifetime. And with that money, you could do loads of things that financially would set you up for a kind of comfortable future. Like, obviously it's not fuck you money or anything like that, but you could move into a new house. You could go pursue a degree or two, a master's, a doctorate. You could invest in a new business. And sure, some of you may say, Anthony, I don't know how to do any of that shit. You could take 30K of that 500K and fucking pay somebody who knows to tell you. That's like one of the things you can do with money. You could buy information. You could most likely buy whatever information Jay-Z is going to give you for cheaper than the 500K you would be giving up. I mean, chances are you could take 500K, and because Jay-Z is a smart businessman, you could offer him 100K to just hang out with you. I mean, 100K is still 100K. And even if he says no, there's a lot of stuff you can do with that kind of money to benefit your life in the long run, be it investing in yourself, taking care of various expenses, eliminating debt, giving yourself the capacity to pursue a newer, better, higher paying career. So yeah, if by some kind of magical occurrence you did end up in this situation with these two choices, for the love of Christ, take the money. You know what? Even if you end up crashing and burning with it, at least you got to play with 500K for a bit. That's certainly a more interesting story than Jay-Z gave me some advice one time. And I think I'm going to leave it there. Again, in the comments, let me know what you guys would do. You're the best. Love you. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up with a link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Jay-Z, 500K, forever.